Hey y'all, it's Danielle
And Tricia.
and today in this video we are doing Wheel Picks Our Page Count for a week. So every single day you'll see Tricia and I spin separate wheels. It will give us a number. That is the number of pages we will hopefully complete in a day. And we will be reading different books at maybe the same books at some point. We don't know what each of us is going to choose to read for every single day. So you will see all of the clips, and then it will be throughout this whole week. And then we will come back together and kind of talk about how it went. So enjoy! Good morning! Happy Monday, March 31st. Shout out to my mom. It's her birthday today. So today is our first day of spinning our wheel for our page count. I am currently reading Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. I'm on page 220. There's 336 pages. So I have about 116 left. My hope is that the wheel gods will be nice to me and give me a higher number, because I would love to finish this book today, to be able to start a fresh read for the month of April tomorrow. But if it doesn't happen, then it's not fate. So today I will be able to read at school. Mondays I do not have yard duty at lunchtime, so I have my planning time and then my lunch. It is the only day I do not have any yard duty, so I definitely take advantage of it and try to be kind to myself, especially on a Monday. And then after work today I have no plans, just to do a workout and dinner with Josh, so that'll be great. Josh is my boyfriend. I don't know if I've ever said his name. Josh is my boyfriend. So we'll do dinner together, and then I will probably keep reading after that. I'm hoping that the wheel is kind to me. I would spin the wheel here, but my laptop died, and then my charger is at school. Work. I'm a teacher, so it's at the school where I work. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's do this. Happy Monday. Let's have a great day.
Hello, it's day one of the Wheel Picks My Page Count video that Danielle and I are doing. As it is a Monday, I don't have to go into the office. I actually get to work from home. Because of that, I don't have to worry about the amount of time that would normally go into commuting for the day. So I've got an extra 2.5 hours that I can put towards reading. So if I get a large page count for today, it would be a lot better than one of the longer days that I have during the week, like Tuesday or Thursday, where I have to leave the house at 6 a.m. and don't get back until like 5. So with all that said and done, let's see how nice or how mean the wheel that's just off screen is going to be for me.
Okay, I am now in my classroom. Welcome to my classroom. And I have my wheel picker. I went from 50 pages to 116, which would be finishing the book. I have decided if I get like 114, anything above 110, I'm just finishing it. So let's see what it says. Here we go. "88 pages. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I just looked at the book. This is a terrible angle. But 88 pages would be page 308, which is in the middle of a chapter. So to finish that chapter, then all I have left is the epilogue, which is 2 pages after that. And then I didn't realize that apparently the last chapter is just like a bonus. chapter. So I guess really I will be finishing the book. So yay! We're finishing the book. That's awesome. Okay, so I have this much to read, and I will be doing that on my planning time, because right now I need to get ready for today, for the children, for the kiddos. So I will see you after I finish this book.
Well, guess it's time to start my 280 pages for the day. It's later on in the day. I am now reading in bed because it's cozy. Yzma's asleep just below where you can't see. She's right there. I am about 50 pages in. What I know so far is the main character, Kierce, is a thief. She's been offered a job. It's a very dangerous job, and people don't want her to do it. I guess we'll keep going. I am about 100 pages in at this point. I know a tiny bit more about Kierce and the mission that she's going on. I know she's going to be stealing from this book's version of like the boogeyman. If the boogeyman was this big dark organization that everybody whispers about, a lot of people think isn't real, but a couple of people who have dealt with them know that they're actually there. So a couple of people in her past have dealt with this boogeyman entity before, and things have not gone well in the past. Now she's going to be facing them on her own to steal this thing. She has unwittingly become the target from not necessarily a rival gang, but a gang that does not like her new employer. I know very little about the interactions between the two, except that they don't like each other. And the fact that Kirsten is learning that magic actually exists. There's not a lot that's been said so far about the magic, but I'm sure that as this book continues, I'll learn way more about it, I hope. What else? The chapters in this story are really short, so it's easy to fly through them, and I'm really enjoying that. However, there's a lot of filler content, it feels like. A lot of things are said that don't give me any more information. It's just the same things being repeated to hint that there's something going on when I, as the reader, don't actually know yet. So I guess all I can do is keep reading and see where it goes.
Okay, so I finished my page count reading for today, which also means that I finished my book because the wheel ended up being kind to me and allowing me to read enough to finish my book. As I said earlier, I was literally, the page count would have had me stop at the epilogue, which seemed unnecessary because the epilogue was 3 pages. So instead of putting that into the page count for tomorrow, I felt like just reading it today. Next book up, we have The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. I'm really excited to read this. It is by India Holton. I know it's part of a series, so I'm super excited. I'm going to get my wheel generator going, and I'm going to put from 1 to... How many pages is this book? 321. So let's see what fate decides for me for reading tomorrow. Okay, here we go. $148 pages. Okay, I'm super happy with that selection. That's going to be for tomorrow. I wanted to spend it tonight for tomorrow so that I can kind of plan getting up and everything, because I do have my, I do have duty during lunch tomorrow, and sometimes I don't always get my planning time to read, or I have to do things on my planning time. So I do plan to get up and read tomorrow. So page 148 is right at the start of chapter 13. So I think I'm going to do till 147 because it's right at the end. And I like that because that is like a significant part, like a significant amount into the book that I feel like I'll get a lot of the book read. So that's awesome. All right, 147 pages tomorrow. Let's do it.
I am now at page 150. a little bit more has happened, not much. Kierce's thieving skills have come out a little bit, so we've seen her in action now. Things have gotten a little steamy between her and a character in this novel, but not like full on steamy, and it was all situation based. That's really all I have to report at this point. Confession time. I got to page 157 or part 4 before I ended up going to sleep last night. So day 2, but I'm playing catch up.
Good morning. Let me turn down the heat. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, April 1st. We are officially into a new month. Woo! So today's page count is 147. I spun the wheel last night. This morning, I've already read 24 pages. I would have filmed that for you, but my phone died. So, and apparently my voice is not awake. Come on, wake up. So I've already read 24 pages of the 147 page count. So I have 123 left to go. And so I will see how much I get read today at work. I don't know. It'll depend on what it looks like when I get there, if I have my planning time. I do have duty at lunch today, like I said. So we will see. I was going to either listen to the Wisteria Society, I forget the name of the Lady Scoundrels, on audiobook, or I was going to listen to our book club book. But then Spotify told me this morning that my minutes don't renew for another 3 days. So I guess we're not doing that. So we will see. And I will film what I can of me reading, and update you when I have a next update.
I've made it to page 200. My thoughts on this book haven't changed very much. There's still not a lot going on. It's filled with a lot of filler. Things got steamy for a little bit. That's something. It wasn't super intense, but it wasn't bad. Like there was a sex scene, so there was something. I learned a little bit more about the magic in this world. Not very much. It's still been very cryptic. So I still don't know how I feel about this. So I have read up to page 250 now. Still not much of the main plot line has happened. I'm at the part where reconnaissance for the main mission is happening. Um, I've met someone from the main character's past, and things are happening with that. Uh, it seems right now, on top of the bunch of filler that there is, that there's just random side quests, more or less. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, I apologize. It feels like there's a lot of information that's being thrown in just to fill out the pages. I know I've been talking about filler, but almost like the main plot of the story would have just been a novella. So instead, it's side quests, a little bit of information to keep your interest, and then just nothing of substance. So, unfortunately, this is a very pretty book. Very pretty. I'm absolutely loving the way it looks. But so far, that's really all it has going for it. It's very pretty, but I don't really have much to say about the contents. I am now 280 pages in, which is the day one page count goal. I'm super late because it's day two, but I have finally finished where I should have been on day one. Um, so far, it's an okay read. I still have nothing exciting to say about this. Where I am right now, there's a betrayal. I'm pretty sure I know what happened without giving any spoilers. If it is what I think happened, it would be a really cool reveal if I wasn't expecting it, but I was expecting it, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, it is nighttime, and I'm tucking in to read my book. A travesty happened. Look. Oh, the cover. I put it in my bag, and I had to get gas on the way home. And I ended up, when I put my wallet back in my bag, it must have landed on top of this. That's so sad. But it's okay. I'll be all right. I am 44 pages in. I am really, really enjoying it so far. I'm not going to actually show you any of the chapter titles because they reveal the details of each chapter, and I don't want to spoil anything. So I'll try and take some video of my page progress. I'm only 44 pages in, and I'm supposed to read 147 today, and so it's gotten a little later at nighttime. I felt very, very tired after work, so I've just been taking it really, really easy. So I don't know. We'll see what we get through. Whatever I don't get through, I will just add it to my page count for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to spin the wheel, and then we shall see what the wheel decides for my page count.
I have reached page 320, which is the 280 pages from yesterday plus the 40 for today. I have gotten another spicy-ish scene, a little light on the spice for what I typically consider to be like a spicy read, but it definitely was a sex scene, so there was that. Again, a tiny bit more about the main plot line. I don't have much left at all for the book, and we're still not into the main heist. So, yeah, I have 70 pages left. So, I'm hoping that the final part of this book picks up and that it makes it worth it. Because right now, I'm not even sure that it was. It's a really pretty book.
The only thing that I'm really enjoying so far about this plot is not even the main story itself, where we're in Kiers's perspective, her mind. I'm actually enjoying the interludes between the parts much more than being with Kiers, um, because it gives you a little bit of insight into different characters and the different things that are happening in the background. That to me is more interesting than the main plot line, which does not bode well. I guess I'll just have to see how the wheel spins tomorrow. I've got 70 pages left, and I'll just have to see how much more I get to read.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Wednesday, April 2nd. I am just about to leave for work. I did not manage to get all my pages read yesterday, so I am going to add the total I have left to what the wheel spins. So I'll read up to page 147 and then continue reading with whatever the wheel tells me. I would have loved to have finished, but yesterday was a really hard day at work. Not that the kids did anything or that there was a lot going on. I was just having a bad mental health day. That is something I struggle with sometimes. So I came home. My boyfriend had made dinner, and then I just kind of relax a little bit. I did read in bed, but mentally I needed to just zone out and check out when I got home. So that's what I did. I did some reading journal stuff, which always helps me feel better. So today's gonna be a great day. I feel a lot better. I have a good breakfast, a good lunch packed away. We're gonna have a great dinner tonight. I feel good about that. My meeting after school got canceled today, so that's awesome. And I was gonna go to a trivia night with some friends, but they all are sick. So I'm gonna stay home. So it's gonna be a great, relaxing night. And I'm looking forward to reading my book because I am loving it. And also Wednesdays are great because we have so much that goes on. It's my library day, it's the kids' gym day, it's pizza day. So usually Wednesdays, they are in a great mood, I'm in a great mood. It's all around a good time. So I will see you at school to spin the wheel. Let's go. Okay, here we go. $203. So that's finishing the book. The book is only 321 pages. So I guess I'm finishing the book today.
I have finished my 40 pages for the day. That does leave me with only 20 left of this book. As you can see, I am incredibly close to being done. I guess technically I'm in the middle of the climax of this book. The obvious main plot line was over really quick. Like once it actually got to the main mission, it felt really quick, almost a little forced to get to this hidden climax, which unfortunately I did see coming. I mean, I'm in the middle of it, so maybe it'll still surprise me, but I'm so close that I don't know if the book can do anything and make me love it at this point. It was kind of a slog, unfortunately. Because I only have 20 pages left of this, and this is only day 3 of a week of the wheel picking my page count. For tomorrow's wheel, I'm going to have a second book on the side, so I have more options than just 20 pages, 10 or 20 pages. So when I spin the wheel tomorrow, the wheel's going to have more numbers, and if it goes over 20 pages, I will start that second book.
All right. Sorry, there's terrible light above me. Okay, I'm excited to see how much I can get read. Let's do it. Good morning, y'all. Happy Thursday, April 3rd. It is sport jersey day at my school today, so that's why I'm wearing a Leafs jersey. No, I am not going to a Leafs game today. It is a spirit day at school. So I did not finish my pages for yesterday. So I had finished yesterday the pages for Tuesday. But because I've gotten such big numbers, the last few days at work have been super busy, and then after school, it's been quite a lot. So that's okay, because I am almost to page 200, and there's only 320 pages. So I feel like I will finish today, because I have been flying through it. And I do not have duty at lunch today. Yay! I do have a meeting over my planning time, but it shouldn't take up my whole planning time, so I'm hoping that I still have time to read. Now, I will say this is kind of forcing me to read a little bit more than I would. Normally, I wouldn't spend this much time at school reading, but because I'm trying to get the page count done. It's definitely making me read more, which is fine. Stuff it's good. Like I plan and stuff, so everything's planned out, so it's fine. It's not stressing me or anything. So, but anyway, so I'm going to try and finish the book today. I think there's a good possibility that I will, and then I'm going to spin the wheel today. Later on to see how many pages I will do of my next book. So I'm actually going to pick what I want to read next, and then be able to input the page amount. And then that way I can spin the wheel. Tomorrow I do have a PA day, so I will have a little bit more time to myself tomorrow. Not a whole lot, probably not as big of a break. But we are supposed to have time to ourselves tomorrow at some point. So hopefully I can read then, and then tomorrow night I have no plans. And my boyfriend is going to hang out with his friends. So I should do that. So basically I'm going to finish The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels today. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll pick my next book right now, and then spin the wheel once I get to school to see what I'm going to read when I'm done The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. All right, so I think my next book is going to be Shadow and Bone, just because the print is fairly larger, so I feel like I'll be able to get through it. It's only oh, no, I passed it. It's only, oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, hold on. There's like bonus stuff at the end. So the actual book is only 356 pages. Not bad. And then there's like some bonus stuff, and that'll be fun to fly through. And this has been an anticipated read. I don't know why the light flickered. I'm sorry. It was the ghost. This has been a really big anticipated read for me, because I really want to start the series. So yeah, I'm excited. So this will be my next read after the the Wisteria Society. And I am going to talk a little bit more about the Wisteria Society. I'll probably wait until tonight. But I am really liking it, and it's really, really funny and really, really interesting. But I don't want to talk about it right now because I want to kind of go through my thoughts. Because I don't want there to be spoilers. I will film like a spoiler warning before my thoughts. So, and I want to get to page 200 before I have thoughts. I already have thoughts, but I want to get to page 200 before I have more thoughts.
So I finished it. It never really picked up. Still an incredibly pretty book. There were very few plot points that I didn't see coming, whether the very specific nitty-gritty or just the general theme of what was coming. I saw most of it, so nothing shocking. This book ended in a way that makes me think that it's a series. And if the rest of the series is this pretty, chances are I'll pick it up. I just don't know if I continue reading on. With all of my pages done for the Wren and the Holly Library, as you saw in the wheel, I spun more than 20 pages today, which means I'm going to start my second book for this. This is Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, I am back home. It is the end of the day. I apologize. I did not film any clips or anything of me reading. I ended up having a super, super busy day. There was a lot going on. I had a few issues with some kiddos. During my lunch, I ended up sitting with some friends to chit chat. There was some stuff going on that we were talking about. So, yeah, I did not do any of that, but I am back home now. I'm really excited to kind of just sit here and read. I am not quite at page 200. I'm still where I was this morning, but that's okay. I feel like I'm going to kind of fly through because I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to read. I'm going to stop at page 200 and then get some dinner and tell you my thoughts, and then I'm going to keep going. All right, I've changed locations. I am comfy cozy in bed. I got my window open because it's so beautiful outside, and I wanted a comfier location. So I am at officially 200 pages. Super loving it. So my thoughts so far. There have been a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of reveals. I've really enjoyed that. I think the writing is splendid. You can definitely tell, like, there's, like, funny comedic moments when somebody's talking and then somebody else is doing something just absurd. Like, they'll be talking and then there's, like, two people that are fencing each other. And they're, like, you can, like, picture it like it's a movie in your head. So I think the writing is spectacular. I definitely think I will finish. I don't know if I'll be able to start Shadow and Bone tonight, but I definitely will start it tomorrow. I am going to spin the wheel, so I am going to see how long it takes me to get... Oh, I need to close the window. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to see how long it takes me to get to page 300, and then I will probably spin the wheel, because after that I only have like 20 pages, so let's do her! Okay, I am on page 304 of the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. I'm 90% through, and there's just been a big twist and turn. Again, I am loving this book. There's only 10% left, so I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. And also, it is part of a series, and I definitely think that I am going to continue this series. So I'm excited to see what happens. It's like a really big twist, and I'm like laughing. I'm having so much fun. Like, and that sounds awful that I'm laughing and there's like a big twist, but I'm having so much fun with this book. All right, I'm gonna read the last 17 pages. Okay, I finished. So technically I was only like 1 day behind on my page count. I am giving this book a 5 out of 5. It was so amazing. I loved it. So funny, so many adventures, twists, turns, plot points, and all the stuff. All the stuff you look for in a good book. Honestly, I probably could have read this in a day if I didn't have work. Work. But it was so good. So 5 out of 5. I am going to go spin the wheel to figure out how much I am reading of Shadow and Bone. Probably will start tomorrow, so I'm going to spin the wheel for tomorrow. Okay, spinning for today. $61. Okay. So 61 pages, and then tomorrow. $140. Okay, I feel like that's really doable. So I should be at page 300 and... No, 201 by tomorrow. So if I'm just looking in the book. Okay, so 201 is in the middle of a chapter. So, oh goodness, hold on. Okay, 201 is in the middle of chapter 15, which is 231 or 32. Wow, those are long chapters. Like literally 199 to 232. Those are long. But the print is like fairly decent size. So I'm excited. So I have a little bit before I want to go to bed. So I think I'm going to get started on my 61 pages now. Good morning, y'all. Oh my goodness. That is a bright sun. You can definitely tell it is a PA day because there's not a single car in the parking lot yet. Technically, we don't have to be here for another 40 minutes. But because I do live about an hour away from where I work, sometimes it takes me a bit longer. So I just wanted to make sure I was here on time. I know I'm a super keener. But it's okay because I'm going to go in, not make breakfast. I brought my breakfast. Heat up my breakfast, microwave my pancakes, have my yogurt, my banana, read a little bit, and then my PA day starts at 8:30, so it's currently 7:52. I'm going to do all of that and then read a little bit of Shadow and Bone. Today's schedule is kind of all over the place for my PA days, so we have quite a bit of a break, and then we've got some stuff to do, and then lunch, and then a lot of it is kind of self-directed that we have to like attend online things. So I don't know when I will get a chance to read, but I do know we should be done a little bit earlier. So I'm excited. And I just got a text message on my car. All right, let's go get ourselves some breakfast and do some reading.
As you saw from a clip yesterday, I did end up finishing The Wren in the Holly Library. My book to read after that was Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. However, while looking at my shelves and the books that I recently got from friends slash family slash other places, I saw on my shelves a second copy of Half-Blood. So because of that, even though I did read 40 pages of this yesterday, that is no longer going to be the book that I read in this challenge. Instead, Ash and I are going to read this as a buddy read. Video for that will be coming out next month, I think. But because I have two copies, this is no longer going to be a book for this video. So instead, I'm going to start a reread of Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So this is now going to be the book that I'm reading for this challenge. Because I did end up reading 40 pages of the other book yesterday, I'm not going to reread 40 pages of this. I'm just going to start with the page number, or I'm just going to start with the number of pages that I spun for today with Shadow and Bone. So let's go. Put my pajamas on, but I still have pages to read. I've gotten to the 50-page mark. As you can see, I'm just a tiny bit into the book. I've got a lot left to read. As this is a reread for me, I can't give you my first thoughts, but I can tell you that I am enjoying what I've read so far. I forgot how much the story throws at you right off the bat. So rereading this, I understand a lot of the terms that are thrown at you, but it does just kind of dive into the world. So keep that in mind if you are reading this book for the first time. There's going to be a chunk of time where a lot of terminology is thrown your way, and if you don't know what things are, it might take a while for you to understand what's going on. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, this is a reread, so I already know what's gonna happen. It's been a couple of years since I've read it though, so I don't remember all of the specifics. I just remember the overarching plots. And the first 50 pages, there's not much that I can really say other than you're introduced to the world, you're introduced to a couple of the main characters. You learn very briefly that there are two different types of warriors in this book. There's the King's Army and then there's the Grisha. That's pretty much all that you're given at this point, so let's see where it goes from there. I have gotten to page 100. From pages 50 to 100, you learn a little bit more about this world. This book takes place in the country of Ravka, but there are other countries that are mentioned. They each treat Grecians differently. While this one uses them as soldiers, there's another country called Ferida that believes all Grecia are witches and should be killed. You've got other countries that have different relations to Grecia's. I don't want to explain all of it and give it away without you having read the book if you haven't yet. If you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, in the 50 pages I just read, Alina is traveling with the Darklings people to what they call the Small Palace or the Little Palace. Basically, in the main city or the King of Ravka's winter home, there's also a small palace where the Grisha live and train and do all of their things. They're on their way to that. By page 100, they just reached there, and Alina is about to meet the king. Okay, I have finished 150 pages. I moved to a slightly different angle because Isma decided to cuddle. And how could you say no to this sweet angel? Like, just look at that face. She's so perfect. At this point, we've learned a little bit about the Grisha's training. Alina has met one of my favorite characters of this entire series, and I can say that definitively because I've read it before. Her name is, I think it's pronounced Baghra, Baghra. Baghra. I love her. She's a badass old woman who doesn't take no for an answer, won't take your will force you to do basically what she wants. Alina's working with her to figure out how her magic works, and Baghra's like, you suck. Figure it out. You're not good enough. I would hate a person like this in real life, but in the book, I freaking love it. Not much more has happened at this point. We did learn a little bit more about the Grisha and how they work in this country, what their roles are, the different types of Grisha there are, what the different colors of their kafta and the stitching mean. But that's pretty much where we've gotten so far. The biggest thing that the last 50 pages dealt with was Alina starting her training as a Grisha. Not just the magic aspect, but also hand-to-hand combat, because before she came to the Little Palace, she was a cartographer for the first army. Now she's learning how to be a Grisha for the second army. So looking forward to where it goes from here. I have now finished 200 pages of this book. I'm still enjoying my time in this reread. There's a character that I know is going to, later on in the series, have a shift, not necessarily of their personality, but how Alina perceives them. So it's really interesting to see how they're treated in this first book and the interactions between the two. This being a reread, I'm enjoying seeing the truth of this person's actions from their perspective, knowing where they're coming from, but then also their actions and motivations from Alina's perspective as a person who's meeting them for the first time. I find it quite interesting. I mean, that the same can be said for a lot of different characters in this book, but the one I'm thinking of in particular, I enjoyed that character's development throughout the series. So, like I said, it's been a couple of years since I've read it, and I'm enjoying getting to see how this person will change throughout. It's just been a couple of interactions so far. Again, I'm only 200 pages into this 3-book series, but I'm enjoying it. I'm glad that I picked this up and decided that this would be a reread for this month. I have just finished page 242, which was the end of chapter 15. And with that, I have read my 240 pages for today. I am definitely enjoying this book more than the first book I read for this challenge, which was The Wren in the Hallway Library. I'm sure no one is shocked considering I did not like that one very much at all and didn't have many nice things to say about it. And I knew I was going to like this one as it was a reread. The last 40 pages was the start of the climax, or like a mini climax before a small plateau to where the actual climax of the book happens. And the only reason I know that is because it is a reread. So I've only got a little bit more of the book to go until I'm done the first one of the series. I may end up reading it tomorrow. I may not get to it tomorrow. It all depends on what the wheel decides my fate will be. I guess we'll see.
All right, I am at Tricia's. Here's Yzma. Say hi. I am currently on page... Oh, and here's Tricia.
Hi!
I am currently on page 184 of Shadow and Bone. I did spin a wheel, but I didn't film it, so that's fine. Tricia witnessed me spin it, so...
She did!
Yeah. See, she's a witness. I got 55 pages today, so I had not finished my page count from yesterday. So I do have to read up to page 200 for that. And then I'm going to read an additional 55 pages. So far, I'm really liking it. The priest is super creepy, and I don't like him. The Zoya girl is really annoying, but doesn't look like she's sticking around, I guess. Look, see, it's not just Tricia with cute dog clips. Now it's me too.
It's a really pretty book.
Oh.
It's velvet.
She got a black edition of The Cruel Prince.
This is not for this video, I'm sorry, but it's...
You are witnessing a live reaction.
Oh my god, I love it. I'm in love.
That is beautiful.
Oh my god. Oh, you're still filming me.
Anyways, so I am loving Shadow and Bone. I don't want to give anything away just because I don't want to be really spoilery in this video. But I have a lot of guesses of what's going to happen. I think the priest is up to no good. I think the king is up to no good. I'm really interested to see what happens with Alina. I really want to know where Mal is. Like, why is he not answering her letters? So I'm going to keep reading. I will get to 255. And then there's only 326 pages. 336? 360. I don't know. But I'll be like less than 100 pages left of the book for probably tomorrow. We'll finish it off. So let's continue reading.
just about 300 pages in. I'm getting to the crux of the climax of the story. I know I said that about 60 pages ago when I ended yesterday that I was getting to the climax, and I was right. It was like the mini climax before the actual climax. It was the slope upwards. So I'm now in like the heart of the climax. You'll see me one more time today when I read the next couple of chapters to get to where I should actually land for today, but that's where I am. My thoughts stay the same because, again, this is a reread. I don't really have anything new to say. That's not spoiler free. I can't give you any of my hypotheses because I know whether they come true or not. So all I can say is I'm enjoying this reread.
All right, this time, made myself a fancy wheel. Let's see what it says. Yay! I guess I'm finishing Shadow and Bone. Okay, so I am on page 309. I am 86% of the way through the book. It has gotten intense. People are being traitors. People are like coming back. The story has taken a huge twist and turn. It is getting intense. It is getting sad. I am getting worried. So let's see what happens. All right. I finished Shadow and Bone. I have been wanting to read this series, and now I really want to pick up the second one. This was so good. I could not have guessed what this was going to be, and it kept me on my seat. There were moments where I was like, oh, this is so going to be predictable. But then it wasn't. It literally took the biggest twists and turns. Every character, like, had a twist and turn. The ending, like, definitely is setting it up for the next book, so I understand. Um, but yeah, like, I definitely at one point, like, after Alina had discovered how to control her own powers, and then she was like, this is my life now, like at this like training facility, um with the Darkling and all his things and whatever and his people and Genya and all that. I was like, oh, this is like she's gonna be in this academy or whatever and training and this will be her life. And then it took a massive twist. And I won't say anything because that would be a huge spoiler, but if you've read Shadow and Bone, I am curious to hear what your thoughts were on like when the story kind of did a 180 in the middle of the book. And I have been texting Tricia because she has read this book before and now she's currently in the middle of rereading it. And so I'm like, what is happening, girl? So, yeah. Anyway, so it is only 10:12, so I definitely have a lot of reading time left. I do have an appointment today, but that's pretty much it. And then it's just like doing stuff around here. I do want to do some stuff in my reading journal because I'm behind with doing my spreads, and I always love doing that. So I might do that today, but I definitely want to pick another book, and then I'm going to spin the wheel again for a page count.
As you just saw, expect to see my face a lot today. With the amount of pages I spun, not only do I have enough to finish the 20 pages of Shadow and Bone that I have left, but I'm also going to read the entirety of Siege and Storm. So let's see how today's reading goes. Hello, I finished Shadow and Bone. It is now time to start Siege and Storm. My reread of Shadow and Bone was everything I wanted it to be, which is great. I've been reintroduced to the world. I now remember the characters and the same things that shocked me the first time. I, of course, saw coming this time, but was able to appreciate more. The character development was a joy to read, and it once again made me think of if you were in a world of gray and you have to choose to kill the few in order to save the many. Would you be able to do it? And at what point does that change you from a good person to the villain? So that's an interesting mindset that this book leaves me with. At least I think it is. And it also leaves me with the question with, if Alina had been found out as Grisha when she was a kid, when she was 8 years old and tested with Mal, would this book still have happened the same way? I don't think so, because she would have grown up in the Grisha environment and she wouldn't have had the life experiences that she did. And it's interesting to think, would she have made the same choices? Why would she have made different choices? So yeah, I'm going to sit here for probably about 10 minutes thinking about Alina in this book and how different choices would have completely changed the book, whether choices within the book or before the book started, things that would have changed maybe just this book or the entire series. And then I'm going to start reading Siege and Storm. I am now almost 50 pages into Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I would have stopped at 50, but it was in the middle of a chapter, so I stopped just before it. So far in this book, we've had events from the first book a little redefined based on other people's perspectives, a little bit more information about some of the things that happened in Shadow and Bone, and the very start of an adventure. That's all I've got so far. Let's keep reading. I am now 100 pages into Siege and Storm. We've just dealt with our first battle of the book. It's harder to say less about this book because it's the second book in a series and I don't want to give like anything away. So instead of talking about like specifics of what's happening right now, I did want to touch on a book within the book. It's called The Lives of Saints, and Leigh Bardugo has actually made a version in our world that everyone can read, and it's all the different saints of this world, their stories plus beautiful illustrations. And it doesn't play the most insane role in the story itself. It's told to the reader as a kid's book in this world. I do just like the fact that now we have a book that is in the world that we can also flip through. And once I'm done rereading the series, I will definitely be rereading The Lives of Saints. I'm now about 150 pages into this book. I'm enjoying it just as much as I was hoping I would. I've always found Leigh Bardugo's writing to be an easy read, so I'm flying through this just like I had hoped and assumed. We have met a character, or we have just had a character reveal, and I love the outcome of said character reveal. In my goal to, once again, not spoil too much of this as the second book, my next topic or question that gets brought up in this book is, if you could have an amplifier, if you were a Grisha and could have an amplifier, would you get one? And what do you think your amplifier would be? Because I find it very interesting. At least I don't remember it being explained very much, but I find it interesting that the amplifiers are all something to do with animals, but I don't think that the nitty gritty has been described yet. So if you were to have an amplifier, I would love to know what kind of amplifier you would have gotten. 200 pages in, and a really great line for books like this. Very good, Nikolai said with a short nod. Just be careful who you trust. I cast a pointed glance at him. I will. Like, it's just such a nice line, because it's like, yeah, I'm going to be careful who I trust, maybe not even you. And for a book like this, that is one of the most powerful and telling lines, in my opinion. I am now 250 pages done, and in the last 50 pages, we are starting to learn the consequences of all of the characters' actions. We're starting to see more perspectives about things that happened in the first book and the start of this book, and changes that are happening to the political structure within the world. I have just reached past the 300-page mark. In the last 50 or so pages, I've read a little bit more about how Grisha work together, both with other types of Grisha and their powers, but also with the non-magical people. In Ravka, they're broken up by the first army and the second army. The first army being those without magical powers, the second army being those with. The second army follows the Darkling at the start of the series, and there have been changes up to where I am now, which is almost done the second one. So we get to learn a little bit more about why people have done the things they have, why they haven't. There's a character in the first book that is a Grisha, and she's an annoying little snot to Alina in the first one, and I can't say she's any better in the second one, but we do get a little bit more understanding about why she has those feelings. I won't say whether she's right or wrong, but it does explain a little bit more about her character. The next time you'll still see me, I'll be a lot closer to finishing. I think you'll see me 2 or 3 more times before this book is actually done. So I read up to page 354, and that's the end of chapter 19, and it ends on such a cute and silly scene. Again, can't tell you anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so funny because, like, there's a couple of different romantic threads throughout the series, let's say. And the one scene that just happened, every time I read it, it makes me giddy and it makes me laugh. And it's just so funny because, and I won't give you any specifics, but the line, "At least now I know you don't always say the right thing," just makes me laugh so hard, and it just makes the characters feel real. Anyways, I'm now just past page 350, and you'll see me next at page 400. I've reached the 400-page mark. I am in the very middle of the final climax of this book. Things are happening. They certainly are. As you saw in the clip of me reading outside, there is a scene, it wasn't a pivotal scene or anything, but there was a minor scene in this book that I completely forgot about, and it legitimately caught me by surprise. So that happened. The next time you'll see me is when I'm done the book, and I'll give you my final thoughts. I have just finished Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. As the middle book in a trilogy, I can happily say that this is not slow and plotting like a lot of them seem to be. It was just as action-packed as the first. It continues to give you more about the world and the story and the characters. While there was like 20 pages, I'd say, that felt like they were dragging, they are still intrinsic to the plot. They're very integral to the progression for some characters. It's just getting through them was a little bit of a slog. With that said, I did enjoy my time in this book again. And with the end of this book, that is the end of the pages I have to read for today. So here's hoping I get to the third one, Ruin and Rising, and get through it just as quick as this one.
Hey y'all, it's Danielle popping in like a week and a half later. So I am so sorry. The clip that I filmed at this point in the video, for some reason, didn't have sound. Super duper apologies on that one. Don't really know what happened. Basically, I was trying to pick my next read because I had a lot of time left in the day and I had to pick another book. And I decided to pick up Tricia and I's a buddy read that we were going to be starting. There's going to be a whole other video on that. But I decided to pick up The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. And if you would like to hear all of our thoughts on that, there's definitely gonna be a video coming out soon all about that book. But for the purposes of this video, I picked that up as like a bonus book to get me through to the end of the challenge. So enjoy. Okay, here we go. We're going to spin to see how much I'm reading today of The Housemaid. $180. Okay, so I got 180, which is perfect. I just looked, and 180 is at exactly the end of a chapter, so that's awesome. And it's this much of the book. So I feel like that's like a significant amount to have thoughts. So I'm excited. It looks like it's more than half of the book. I can't tell. Visually it looks like close to half or more than half of the book. So that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get started reading. So probably in this video, I'm just going to kind of give general thoughts, and then I will give more specific thoughts of The Housemaid in our buddy read video that will be coming out. I'm not sure. I think towards the end of the month. I'm not sure. But definitely keep an eye out on our YouTube for it. But I'm excited to get into this. So let's do it. Okay, so I am 5 chapters into The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. 36 pages. So far, it is very good. It's like there's an eerie vibe. So it is a thriller book. There is definitely an eerie vibe going on. I know that we said we were not going to be as spoilery, oh my lord, spoilery as we could be, but like something's definitely going to go down because like the gardener definitely is giving her hints and clues, and definitely with him, basically he's trying to warn her off. Like, don't come into this house, girl, bye. Like, get out of here. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I still have quite a ways to read. Like I said, this was my like page wheel spinner count for today, so I have to read up to page 180. I'm quite interested to see what Trish thinks. We haven't really talked about it. I know we're both reading it today, but we haven't really had a chance to talk about it today, so I'm interested to see what she thinks and her thoughts. But so far, I'm definitely getting an eerie vibe, but I can't tell. Like, obviously they're hinting that she, the main character, Millie, I believe, is her name. Definitely hinting that she has a shady past, but Nina Winchester is, like, with the bedroom door, eek. If you read it, you know. If you know, you know. So, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. It's definitely giving me spooky ooky. It's definitely giving me thriller vibes. The heart is a flutter. So, I am excited to keep reading. Hey y'all, Danielle popping in. As Tricia and I realized, we did not have time to sit together and film a outro for our wheel picks. So we kind of are going to pop in separately. So I had a lot of fun with this challenge. I felt like I did way more reading at work, which I said at some point this past week. I ended up reading a total of 954 pages. I don't remember what I spun every day, and I'm too lazy to go look back at the videos. So I feel like I definitely read less than I was supposed to, but I still count that as a good amount of pages read. I had a really busy week this week, and I was having a hard time with both my mental health and physical health. I don't know. It was a rough week at school, and sometimes I have those where it's just a lot, very overwhelming, very overstimulating. So 954 pages read. I'm counting that as a awesome week of reading. I finished 2 books and started a third, and I actually ended up finishing The Housemaid by Frida McFadden on the Monday. So honestly, it was fantastic. If you want to know, especially for The Housemaid, of Tricia and I's more in-depth thoughts on that book, keep an eye out on our YouTube. We will have a video coming out shortly. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, so thank you for coming along. And if you want to give this challenge a try, I highly recommend. We will catch you in the next one. As always, happy reading. Bye.
Hey guys, my turn for a wrap up. Like Danielle just said, we did not have time to meet up after filming our individual clips to film this wrap up, so we are doing it individually. My apologies, I hope you don't mind. I am quite content with the amount of pages that I spun for this week. I personally think that it was a nice number to spin because throughout all 7 days, I spun 1,250 pages. That's not to say that's the amount I read, but that's a nice even number that I spun. Granted, I did make all of my wheels go up by 10s, so I knew that I was going to have like a 0 at the end there, but to land on 1,250 was just, I loved it so much. Now I did end up reading 3 books throughout this video, and based on what the wheels gave me, I did end up finishing all 3 books. With that said, I only read 1,172 pages. The 3 books that I read throughout this week were The Wren in the Holly Library, Shadow and Bone, and Siege and Storm. I'm sure by now you guys know what all of my thoughts were. I will say that I am disappointed with this beautiful, gorgeous book. I will be keeping it because it is so pretty, but that's really all it has going for it in my mind, which is unfortunate. So I started this challenge off with a little bit of a hurdle. By not enjoying the book, I didn't want to read my page count. Thankfully, I decided to do rereads after that and ended up flying through both of these books. I mean, you saw, I devoured them. I already knew it was coming. Even with that, some of the scenes still ended up shocking me, which to me is great. I love rereading something after years and being shocked by the plot all over again. I can confidently say that I would happily do this challenge again. Whether or not Danielle would be willing to do it again with me is another question. She would probably have to do it either during the summer or during a break from school because she has a lot of commitments as extracurriculars. So, of course, the amazing teacher she is, she's going to be focused on that more so than reading. I, on the other hand, don't have extracurricular activities outside of my day job. So I don't have to worry about being a coach or being there for children. And I don't have the mental load that she does. For me, this was fun because, like I said, it's not the only books I read this week, but I had a purpose for a few of them, and that helped me fly through what I could. I hope you don't mind that this video was quite so long. I promise we will be throwing in some shorter videos throughout the rest of the month as well. Thank you once again for spending time with us, and we're happy to have you here. Bye!